Now, for more on this, I'm now joined by Manuel Tarradillos here from our Spanish service. Thank you so much for joining us here, Manuel. So, why all this controversy surrounding these face masks?
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Well, it's a very confused new measure. It's true that Spain is experiencing a rise in the number of cases. Slightly, it's not big, but for example, yesterday we had 8,000 new cases and they are pushing for new restrictions. This is the one, as you said, so in every public space, independently of the distance you can have with other people, it's becoming mandatory. That has led to people to ask, for example, okay, if I'm lying at the beach, if I'm swimming in the sea, if I'm alone doing some trekking in the mountains, is it mandatory to wear it? So obviously this raised a few questions, especially from some regional governments whose regions have a lot of income coming from tourism, saying, first of all, is this useful and practical? Implementing this measure will really help to ease the number of cases, to control the number of cases. And second of all, how are we gonna control it? How are we going to enforce it? How can we have policemen everywhere doing this? And nevertheless, and as you know, in Spain, it's not only the national government managing the current pandemic, it's always doing it with coordination with the regional government. So even if it was already, entered into force, this new measure, yesterday evening they announced that actually they are going to reevaluate it, rewrite it, and probably there will be a few changes because, as you said, the way it is now, it's not going to be very, very useful.
So obviously Spain is heavily dependent on tourism. It's been a tough year in 2020 for Spain. Now with all these new rules sort of going back and forth, how is that going to affect the tourism sector this coming summer, for example?
Well, what the national government says is that these new measures like the masks are not going to have an impact. For example, now that we're in Easter holidays, it's very unlikely that somebody who already booked a ticket is going to cancel it because they might be obliged to wear a mask at the beach or not. But thinking short term, for example, for these Easter holidays, it's more the impact that can has in the business that will oblige people to enforce these rules. Tourists can be confused, even at some point can be fined, so they won't know what to do, and obviously it can lead to, we can call it like bad reviews and impact tourism in summer that already was totally lost last year. But for example, to have an idea, they expect for this Easter just 15% of the regular amount of visits, and last year they estimated that the touristic sector only in Easter lost 18 billion euros in these few days. So obviously all this going back and forth with rules, it's not going to help.